Good evening, and welcome to Rotary All Ohio Multi-District Pet Session on Membership. A couple of protocol items that we have. If you take a look at the quick screen here, one of the things we are asking you to do here in the top left-hand corner is change your name. And if you would please put your first name, your last name, and then your district ID. That would be helpful. If you would please, during the time that we are presenting, if you would remain muted, that would be very beneficial in the bottom left-hand corner. If you would like to have some reactions or send a clap or raise your hand to ask a question, just go to the reactions button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. It looks like this little smiley face and says reactions, and you can select what you would like to do. And then we are asking that you be aware, we are recording the meeting this evening. So if you'd like to review it again in the future, it will be available. Your district governor-elect will send that out to you and let you know how to view it at that time. And we're going to go ahead and Mr. Baker, you're up, sir.
Well, welcome, everyone. It's great to see such a large group. This is very exciting, certainly very exciting for all the DGEs getting ready for pre-pets and pets. My name's Gary Baker. I am the DGE for 6690. There are a couple of folks from my district I want to introduce, and if you could maybe just give us a wave. Sandy Kniesel, the district governor nominee. See Steve Heiser is on the registration list. I don't see him. He's past district governor. And then Terry Radizak is our district TRF chair, but he is primarily the wizard behind the scenes helping us with some of the technical direction of this show. So with that, I want to introduce my colleagues, and I'm going to start with District 660, Mr. Tim Ryan.
Thank you very much, Gary. I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm district governor-elect this year, and with me is my serving district governor, Jim Duke. I'm glad he's here. I'd like to welcome all of the presidents-elect and thank them for their contributions both to their clubs and their communities. Thank you very much.
So next is District 6630, Dale Smith.
Good evening, all. I'm Dale Smith, District Governor-elect of 6630, the Northeast Ohio District. I'm in the Mentor Club. Welcome you all here. I have past District Governor David Jones, who has been coordinating this conference, and then also Assistant Governor Ed Slane is out there somewhere in the crowd. There he is, waving. So welcome all, and have a great evening.
Next, District 6650, Elaine Bosick.
Good evening and greetings to our presidents-elect for the year 24-25. I'm Elaine Bosick. My home club is Youngstown, Ohio. District 6650 is East Central in the state of Ohio.
Next is District 6670, Dottie Mead.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited for tonight, the first All Ohio Pets Zoom. And I'd like to introduce, we have Frank Scott, our immediate past district governor, and somewhere out there is Heidi Schiller, our district governor nominee. So thank them for being here and welcome. You have much to learn and great fun ahead of you this evening.
And again, I am Gary Baker, DGE for 6690 from the Newark Club. And before we go too far, I want to thank past District Governor David Jones. He has been a great counselor to this group and is kind of doing the run of show. And at this time, I'm going to ask him to play a message from the current RI president, Gordon McAnally.
Greetings, my Rotary family. World Polio Day on the 24th of October is our opportunity to celebrate our progress towards polio eradication and moving people to act so we can reach the finish line, eliminating forever the emotional burden children and parents face in dealing with this devastating disease. 2023 is a critical year for polio eradication efforts, as the Global Polio Eradication Initiative aggressively works to achieve two significant milestones reflected in our strategic plan. The first milestone is to interrupt the transmission of wild poliovirus type 1. Only 2 countries remain endemic for the wild poliovirus: Afghanistan and Pakistan. Intensified efforts in both countries have resulted in the fewest numbers of virus types in history, validating our progress. The second milestone is to report the last case of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 in those areas that are prone to repeated polio outbreaks that can be so difficult to control. They are also home to some of the largest populations of zero-dose children. That is, children who are either unvaccinated or under-vaccinated. Although the number of cases is down from 2022, experience tells us that even one case is one too many. And polio has repeatedly shown us that it's difficult to get across the finishing line and eliminate the virus. Our work together has brought us to the threshold of a polio-free world. We're 99.9% of the way there. We need to work together to get through this final mile. Every Rotary member needs to be part of this effort in some way. Please, donate funds, and let's meet our target of $50 million to earn the full 2-to-1 match from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Donate time and continue to spread awareness that polio is ours to eradicate if we work together. You've done incredible work thus far, and you will get us over that finish line and take us to victory. Together, let's give this amazing gift to the world's children. Together, we end polio.
Yeah, that was awesome. An awesome message from our RI president. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to District 6630 DGE Dale Smith for an explanation of pre-pets and pets and a few other messages. Dale?
Thank you, Gary. And a hard act to follow, but I'll do my best. So BC, before COVID, we would refer to our session that we have in Columbus every March with our president-elects as PETS, which, as you all know in Rotary, we love our acronyms. And so PETS stands for President-Elect Training Seminar. And also prior to COVID, each district would have sessions prior to the All-Ohio President-Elect's Training Seminar in Columbus that we would refer to pre-PETS. What we do today, which I think is a nice evolution, is we have these Zoom sessions where our 5 districts get together and talk about membership, foundation, and public image, the 3 legs of our 3-legged stool, if you will, for Rotary. And then each individual district does a little specialization on that. And we call those sessions pre-PETS. And the event in Columbus is PETS. So to avoid any confusion in the future, when you see emails, pre-PETS are the sessions prior to March and are pretty much all on Zoom. For most districts, I know that 6690, for example, has an in-person meeting immediately preceding the get-together in March. So I hope that explained it. I avoided using any acronyms other than in defining them, I hope. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is that in years past, we've gone back and forth a bit on a spouse partner program. So each of you will be receiving, each of the president-elects will be receiving a very, very, very brief questionnaire, most likely 1 to 2 questions, just asking if you would like us to have a spouse partner program and what the contents might be of that program. So look forward to that. I promised my classmates that I would get that done this week, and my time is ticking by. I only have 2 days, but I promise I'll get it, guys. So thank you all very much, and enjoy our amazing speaker that's coming up in a moment.
Dale, thank you so much. I can't emphasize enough for you folks, the PEs, to try to get in on all the Zooms that you can And also make sure that you are registered. We'll get registered for pets in March. I think it will be a very kind of an will make a big impression on you. So with that, I am now going to introduce Jenny Stotts. Jenny's profession is in the mental health. She's a liaison for the state of Ohio, but what we know her for is her tremendous leadership and speaking regarding membership for District 6690. And she has been a tremendous example. She has started numerous Rotary clubs. So Jenny, before you start, when you start, I want you to tell me how many Rotary clubs you helped start down in Athens. But now she is the Rotary coordinator for the zone, and she's going to speak to us about membership, the big picture. Jenny Stotts.
All right. Well, thank you for that warm and generous welcome, Gary. And I'm hopeful. My internet connection is flagging a little spotty for me, so it might be all of the camera feeds coming in. So if you notice that I'm freezing, killing your camera feed, if you're in the audience, might help with that. But we'll get through it. We've learned to adapt in these last few years. So thanks again for welcoming me. I want to first start off by just saying congratulations and thank you to all of you presidents-elect out in the audience tonight. It's such a tremendous honor and a privilege to be chosen to serve your communities in this role. And that just tells me that your clubs saw something in you and believe in you, and we're inspired to have you lead them. So congratulations and thank you for that. I also want to take a moment to just say, as a president, you shouldn't be doing this alone. There are a lot of things on your plate as president. And so as you head towards your year, I hope that you will start thinking about who's going to be on your team, whether that's your club chairs, your committee chairs, whether that's filling out your board. Start thinking about that now. And especially, I'm a membership person, so especially I want you to be thinking about who your club membership chair is going to be. Is that someone that's going to be continuing in that role? Is that someone new that you need to appoint? Start working with them now, and you're going to have a solid 6 or 7 months to plan with them and think about what you want their role to be. Think about, wow, I really wish our club had a stronger new member orientation program. Pull in that membership chair in your club and start working with them now. Or, we really want to work on treating every event as an attraction event. We really want to work on making sure that we're always inviting guests. Think about what those top ideas are, what those goals are that you have, and start working on them now. Start identifying that leadership team now, because not only does that spread out your workload across a lot of people, but it also, your club leadership team is the farm team for your future president roles. So when you think about, when you're introducing people into those leadership roles, you are preparing them for future leadership within your club and beyond. So I hope, if you think of nothing else as you close out tonight, that you will be thinking, who is my membership chair? If I don't have one, who would be good? And start plugging them in now. So tonight I was asked to talk to you a little bit about membership from the perspective of a president. And so I decided to take a little bit of a creative liberties with this and invite you all to take jobs at the Idea Factory. So congratulations, you have all been hired. You are now all line employees, line workers of the Idea Factory on how to grow and enhance Rotary clubs. So first up, we're going to do new line worker orientation. It's important that you know that our conveyor belt moves very, very quickly here at the Idea Factory. And we're going to be using the chat box to capture all of your ideas. So tonight during the session, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, and I'm going to lean on you as Rotarians, as club leaders, to help solve these problems and come up with solutions. So you have to kind of stretch out your fingers and get ready to fire up the chat box. But the conveyor belt moves quickly. You're only going to have 60 seconds to fill the chat box after each scenario is presented. It's important that you remember that there are absolutely no bad ideas. So even if it's a half-baked thought, a half-baked idea, throw that in the chat box. And also think of this as not necessarily thinking about it from the problem perspective, but thinking about how we can take advantage of these opportunities to get creative and be innovative. And finally, everybody contributes. I've taken probably every Learning Center course in Rotary there is about membership. I've read just about everything you can get your hands on with membership. And one thing I know is that the wisdom is usually in the room. So I know that in this room tonight, that's probably where a lot of the answers lie. So let's be willing to share with one another and share our wisdom. So I hope everyone has the rules down straight for the Idea Factory. Okay, first up is the Rotary Club of Mayberry. This is a club that does a great job at attracting new members. The club has fun events and is really involved in service, so the organization often piques the interest of community members. But over the past few years, club leaders have noticed that members seem to fade away after about 18 months. The club leaders are looking for creative ways to engage members who are somewhere between orientation and being settled in, to kind of try to avoid the issue of this revolving door. So this is the issue that I hope to help, that you will just throw all of your ideas into the chat box. What might you do about this? And you're going to have 60 seconds. So get those fingers, get those typing hands ready, and go.
Jenny, this is impressive. There's a bunch of them.
As I said, the wisdom is always in the room. And I'm going to do my best to try and capture all of these things. I'm hoping maybe I can download the chat so we can send them out to all of you. But I would love to hear from just one or two people. If you jotted an idea in there really quickly, if you'd want to expand on that a little bit, could we have a volunteer? Otherwise, I'll pick you randomly. So someone wants to use the raise hand feature, and I'll rely on one of the tech folks to unmute you.
Nate Strum.
That doesn't feel random, Gary. One of the answers I put in there actually was the other way, Jenny. I suggested we reach out to those who have been disengaged in a brief survey to understand why they may have left. And that way we can learn from some of those past concerns and further engage our current professionals to keep them involved longer.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's important that we get thoughtfully curious when people have disengaged and not make assumptions about why, but just to go to them and ask. So excellent suggestion. I thought I saw another hand up, Kevin, maybe, but you disappeared from my screen. I can't see everyone, so.
Yeah, I put my hand down. I was getting tired.
Oh.
I just said, my idea is, one, I think it's impressive that particular club has identified where that cliff is, where they're losing members. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we face with a club of our size in Toledo, is to really identify where is that cliff. But meeting one-on-one with those members to figure out, at that 12-month mark, get out ahead of the cliff to figure out what they're looking to get out of the club and be able to better engage them. I think it's just as simple as ask them what they want to get out of it, and they'll tell you.
Yeah, that's a great point. When I was my club's president, one of my favorite things that I did is I met one-on-one with every member, like grab a beer, grab a lunch, go for coffee. And they were members who were super engaged, brand new members, and members that we hadn't really heard from in a while. And it was just, no real agenda other than to just understand what motivated them in Rotary a little bit more. And, just kind of asking the question about why, what are they hoping to get? What would they like to see in their experience with our club? One, it helped me form some really fun friendships, but then it also just helped me understand what the pulse of the club was. So just reaching out and talking to people and being willing to hear their answer, whether we like it or not, is a great strategy. We'll hear from Ed, and then we'll hop back into the factory and go to the next one. So Ed, we'll go with you and then we'll move on.
I suggested that newer members, maybe not brand new, but after a period of time in the club, be assigned to shadow one or more committee chairs to understand what their roles really are on a week-by-week basis or a month-by-month basis as you move through the Rotary calendar, and really participate. Not throw them into the role directly, but to shadow and assist the committee chairs, and that provide a level of involvement that they wouldn't have otherwise.
That's fantastic suggestion. Yeah, kind of buddying them up almost like a vice chair or co-chair so they can really shadow. That's a great suggestion to kind of get someone involved without just tossing them in there. Great suggestion. All right, we are going to move on to our next scenario. Oh, well, actually, before I do that, I forgot. Of course, I have all the tools listed here for you. So if this is a scenario that sounds familiar to you in your club, there are tons of tools. Rotary has no shortage of resources related to membership. So don't panic about trying to write all of these down. I'll make sure that this slide deck gets sent out to everyone. And then when you have it in the slide deck form, these links will all be working. So there are tons of tools. I just encourage you to get on and poke around in the Rotary membership section. All right, our next opportunity to solve something here is the Rotary Club of Cabot Cove is a strong, long-standing club. About a third of their members are legacy members, meaning that they had a parent or a grandparent who were also members. These members have a deep commitment and dedication to the club, but there's this contingent of younger members who aren't so interested in some of those traditions, but they believe in Rotary and they want to try some new things like new service projects and social gatherings. The club leaders notice that this is leading to a subtle division in the club. So everyone's got the scenario locked, and you will again have 60 seconds to fill the chat box with every idea you got, good, bad, and ugly. I don't know, factory workers, productivity seems to be dipping. Like, fire up the fingers, get them going, get the ideas in there, type fast. Oh, here they come, here they come. All right, awesome. Well done. I love, some of you pick up on my sense of humor there if you got some of the references in my scenarios. Alan from District 6630 says, let them run with it, which I think someone even gave that a thumbs up. I think that's great, right? Let them run with those things. Someone said talking about a satellite club or a cause-driven club. Gosh, it's like you've read my script or something. I saw lots, I want to call out, I saw lots of you talking about shared leadership and like kind of a co-mentoring relationship. I think it was Josh, who happens to be in my club as well. I'm in Josh's club actually. And, pulling in those more tenured members, those more seasoned members alongside new members and working collaboratively on things. I've already seen Josh starting to do that within my own club. Talking lots of things about bridging the gap. Fantastic. All right. I would love to hear from someone to just expand a little bit more on this. If you've encountered this yourself, or if this is something that you're thinking about as you head into your year, I'd love to hear from someone. And if no one volunteers, I hear Gary will just pick them. I see Alan, your hand is up. So maybe if someone could unmute Alan from 6630.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that we have a legacy in our club, longstanding individual Mike Johns, and what's really cool is, I didn't type this in there other than let the youth fly with what their ideas and what they want to do, and how they can, hopefully bring in even more younger members. But like in Mike John's scenario, I mean, it was really nice to have him speak to us at one point and tell us about, his father and how he got involved and how Mike got involved into it. And from a younger, standpoint, me hearing all that, I thought that was impressive. And it was as younger people would hear them, hear those people speak about, how they became into Rotary and so on. I think it leads ammunition for the younger people to go out and say, now I can do that too. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I'm a big fan of really emphasizing the importance of multi-generational Rotary clubs, of really embracing the diversity of thought and the diversity of perspective that comes when we have people at different ages, at different places in their careers, from different backgrounds, all coming together to create really cool things for our communities. If you feel like doing some Googling later on, there's a YouTube video that my club did several years ago. So if you look at Athens Sunrise Rotary's YouTube channel, there's a video on the benefits of multi-generational Rotary clubs. And we actually just interviewed our members, some who had been in Rotary for 20 plus years, some who had only been in for a short while, talking about the benefits of those kind of pipelines of relationships across generations. So I think really embracing this and finding ways to co-lead. And then there are times where it makes sense, right, to have, an extension of the club that maybe works on different things. I think all of those things are really creative ideas, and depending on the situation in the club might work. All right, we have our last scenario. Oh, of course, I always forget that I have tools, but wait, there's tools. So I'll make sure that you all have this in front of you as well, that this gets emailed to you. But there are lots of tools in Rotary right now to embrace club flexibility, to navigate difficult conversations, to look at ways to keep everyone engaged and meet everyone's needs. So there's tons of tools. And chances are, if it's not a type of club setup that exists, it just doesn't exist yet. Rotary is really responsive in what's happening in the club. So if there's a new creative kind of strange situation happening in a club and it's working, chances are we're going to take that and then we're going to share that information with other districts and other zones. And then it will become the next thing that everybody wants to do. So just because it's never been done before in Rotary doesn't mean that it can't be done. So I encourage you to be really creative when you're thinking about how to meld together all of the different perspectives in your club. Okay, now we're going to get on to our third scenario. So the Rotary Club of Butterfield is involved in several community service projects each month. The club is highly visible in the community and several influential leaders are members. But lately, club leaders have noticed potential members seem really interested in service projects and regularly attend the club's public events. But when they're invited to join, they note that they can't really afford the club's dues, and they're concerned that they might not be able to regularly attend the club's lunch meetings. All right, fire up the keyboard hands, and you have 60 seconds.
That round might be a record, Jenny.
That one's looking pretty good. And I think this is real, right? How many of you were sitting there thinking, oh gosh, is she talking about my club? Is my club the Club of Butterfield? Because these are real things. As the cost of meals are going up, it's hard to juggle, folks that, you want to come together and enjoy a meal together, meeting those minimums, but wanting to be, you have minimum meals you have to buy, but you want to be flexible with membership. These are real things that we have to wrestle with in Rotary right now. So I would love to hear from a few folks here. There's I missed the name, but someone talked about giving credits on dues when new members are brought into the club. I don't know who said that. I saw it float by my screen really fast. Whoever typed that, if you'd want to unmute and talk about that, that's a great idea and one I've not heard before.
Well, Jenny, I think that was me.
Oh, hi, Josh. Sorry to call you out.
No, you're fine. I figured sooner or later I might get the point. Yeah, I mean, obviously just kind of brainstorming quickly in 60 seconds, just throwing out some information there. But, obviously new members and creating that lifelong legacy in or drafting those new members in is always probably going to be an issue with some clubs sooner or later. Adding this potential financial burden to it is, a new twist, obviously, but I would think that if you could encourage people to, hey, we can give you credits. You've got friends, tell your friends how much you enjoy it. Maybe they're in the same situation, but we're willing to help you, obviously would spur not only longevity in those members that you're now proving your loyalty to, but also their friends and family that they might bring into the club also. So it could be a double win, I guess, in that situation to get a lifelong member, but also incorporate new blood into the process too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's a really creative idea. I appreciate you sharing that, and I hope you'll flesh that out a little bit more. I know it's on the spot in 60 seconds, so that's a great idea. I saw lots of people talking about corporate memberships, and some of us are really familiar with that concept. And I know for some that might not be something that's been explored in your Rotary Club. So for someone who has uses corporate memberships in their club, would you mind unmuting and talking a little bit about corporate memberships?
So great example. We have a number of corporate memberships in the Mansfield, Ohio Club. And a great example is the current president of Ohio Health just retired, and he actually lives in the Columbus area, but he's been coming up to Mansfield and running the Shelby and Mansfield operations for Ohio Health. And seamlessly, with other members from that corporate membership, they had a replacement for him, as well as another person that they brought in as a backup. And it's just been fabulous. I mean, the other great thing about corporate memberships for Mansfield has just been, if one person can't make it, another one is guaranteed to be there. And they're very responsible about ensuring that someone is going to be in Mansfield at the meeting on Tuesdays. And it also helps lessen the financial burden to certain people to some extent. And I should know the numeric details of that, but I do know that you have one primary member, and then you have the additional members are not as expensive. And of course, the corporation usually pays the dues. But corporate's been really a blessing for us, and we've embraced it and promote it.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. And thinking about that too, of the value that your Rotary Club brings to someone who's an employee of someone else, right? To think about the value that it brings to convince local business owners, large corporations within your area to just invest in Rotary membership for their teams. And think about that value and think about a way to talk about that value proposition to those business owners. A cool spin on this that I've been hearing, and I know there are several clubs down south that are doing this, and maybe some of your clubs are as well, but actually doing family memberships. So if you have, like my husband and I are both Rotarians, my club doesn't have family memberships, but it's essentially there's kind of a reduced rate when a couple gets involved, and there's, especially if they're, getting their family involved and things like that. So that's another way to a cool spin on a corporate membership that more clubs are doing. Do any clubs happen to use a family membership model by any chance, or offer that as a rate? All right, Robert.
Maybe something like a financial tier, like, you go by what they make a year at their job or something. I don't know, because some people can't, especially with inflation the way it is and whatnot. Maybe they can't afford that much, Yeah. So maybe we could go by like some kind of, like maybe somebody makes $20,000 pays less than somebody makes $80,000, whatever a year. I don't know if that's something that would be worth checking into, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Kind of exploring like different sliding scale models. And then, obviously I'm sure different clubs would measure that differently. I know of some clubs, especially during the pandemic, they created kind of a hardship fund for members who had experienced employment difficulties. They'd kind of let people donate to a hardship fund, and then they were able to cover dues for folks who were, in a tough spot to kind of alleviate that. I've also heard a lot of really cool stuff happening with emerging leader programs within clubs. So it's younger members, you can kind of prorate those fees over time as they build tenure within the club. And I think that's a really cool model as well. I have some resources on that. If anyone's interested in learning more, you can send me an email and I can forward you some of those templates. It's a really cool program. Sheila, one of my favorite assistant governors.
Hello. Nice to see you all. Our club has a corporate membership, and we have a primary member from the corporation and also 2 associate members, but we charge only for 2 members. So essentially, they get a free membership. And that's worked out well because, again, we get, 3 people from one organization involved. And they keep each other inspired as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing and giving another plug for corporate memberships. All right, this time, now that we're on the last scenario, I remembered that I have tools, but Rotary has lots of tools. There's a really great guide. If your club doesn't currently offer corporate membership models and you're ready to start, you want to kick the tires on that, there's a great guide for that. There are several articles in Rotary Voices that I have linked here, so I'll make sure you get a link, get this document to share. But they're club innovation articles on how to build innovative clubs, how to think outside of the box in the way that you're growing and enhancing your Rotary Club. So lots of things to do, lots of things living in the Learning Center there at Rotary.org. So if you have not checked out the Learning Center, I hope that you will go and hang out in that space for a little bit. The trainings that Rotary, the training team at Rotary International has put together are excellent. They're exquisite. And they're, you can fill a 20-minute time period, you can fill an hour, you can fill a whole day. So they're really good bite-sized training sessions on there. And I encourage all of you to check those out. So great job. We did it. I don't know how many ideas we have, but it's got to be in the hundreds. So we'll make sure that those all get captured. I'm going to save the chat and make sure that those all get captured. And again, that's why the wisdom is in the room. We have 5 districts here in Ohio. I don't know how many how many clubs there are. I should have known that. I should have Googled that before I came on. But there's a lot of wisdom in this room. There's a lot of Rotary happening across Ohio. So we really do need to be sharing with one another, sharing our lessons learned and our successes. And finally, I would not be doing my job as an assistant Rotary coordinator to not tell you that we are here for you. Your zone team is here for you. We'll be there for you, for those of you that are Bon Jovi fans. But your districts are there for you. Your district governors are going to be there for you. You have a lot of support. In the zone, you will have access to monthly membership meetings. There are tons of training opportunities, tons of resources. If you need help analyzing your club's data, lean on your team for that. That's what your district support team, your district leadership team, and certainly me here at your zone team are here to help you with. And finally, I want to leave you with a parting gift. I hope that by now all of you have been introduced to the Membership Success Center. This is a new section within, you can access it in DACDB. And it's one of the coolest things that I've seen come from Rotary. It's actually was developed in Rotary Zones 33, 34, so our neighbors. And it's a really cool tool that brings together and analyzes your club's real-time data. And it compares your attraction rates with your attrition rates to help you target what are your strengths as a club? Where are you doing really, really well? And then what are the challenges? And then once it identifies those for you, it says, hey, you're doing a great job of bringing in new members, but you're losing more members than you're bringing in each year. It'll break that down for you in percentages, and then it will offer up possible solutions. So it's a really fantastic tool. And if you haven't checked this out yet, there's a QR code. I invite you to grab that with your phone. I'll make sure you have the link as well. But this QR code actually goes to a recorded video of a training on how to access the Membership Success Center and how to use it when you're setting goals for your club. It's a really cool thing. If you are regardless of what level of nerd you are, you will love it. If you are just a mild nerd, you'll be like, thank goodness this did the work for me and I don't have to crunch the numbers and do the math. If you're a super nerd, you'll get really excited about all the bells and whistles here. So I invite you to check this out and use it. Start using it now. Use it with your membership chair. Use it with your current president. and really start thinking about, gosh, where are we needing the most help? Where are we doing really well? What can we continue doing, and help make really smart goals heading into your presidential year? And finally, please stay in touch. Let's be friends forever. And feel free to connect with me via email or on social media channels. I'm always down to talk shop with Rotary, but please also know that as you head into your year as president, you have an incredible support team wrapping around you. You have an assistant governor, a district governor, you have district membership chairs, district foundation chairs, who are all there just to help you be successful. Every single person in a district leadership structure, in a district leadership hierarchy, wants nothing more than to all the clubs in our areas to be successful and to do great work for their communities. So know that you have an incredible team supporting you. Now, I think we have a few minutes, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I would love to take questions or otherwise talk shop with all of you. I think we have a few minutes for questions. Is that right, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which will lead right into because the next session is open discussion. So
okay.
Now's the time to certainly ask Jenny some questions, and we can roll off membership into anything else that you might like to talk about.
Gary, while people put their thoughts together for questions, I just wanted to say, Jenny said several times, and you witnessed it yourself, that the wisdom was in the room. There were so many great ideas scrolling across the chat. Just imagine if you had the opportunity to sit with one another, maybe in Columbus, and share those ideas and discuss those ideas. Well, that's what we'll be doing in March at the Renaissance at All Ohio Pets. You'll have the opportunity to share those ideas with one another, ask questions, build on them, and get more knowledgeable about many of those great ideas and others that you saw go by. And, oh, by the way, on Saturday night, you'll have the opportunity to hear the amazing Jenny Stott speak once more, I believe, on mental health. So please join us in Columbus in March 15th and 16th.
Well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I just was going to close by just thanking everyone. It would have been really awkward if nobody had put anything in the chat. That would have been really awkward for me. So I thank you all for being such great factory line workers and working in the Idea Factory. It really contributed to this conversation tonight, and I look forward to seeing what y'all do in the next year. And now, of course, I do see some questions if we have time for those. I see Alan and then Sheila.
Okay, so my first question was, I think this came on that Gary mentioned or prior to you starting your presentation, Jenny, about spouse/partner memberships. Has that come up in the sense of, maybe you have your wife as a member too, and in which is there a discount for dues or anything like that, or I guess I haven't seen that before, and that was a question I wrote down earlier.
Yeah, that's been a membership model that I've seen played out a few different ways in different clubs. Most frequently, what I'll see is a spouse or partner who joins the club. It'll be a discounted rate for that second person in that family. And I've seen a lot of times they're just being called family memberships now, because it might be like a parent and a child, like an adult child or something joining. So, you have one person and then you get a discount for their family member to join. That's the model I've seen most frequently, but there are lots of different ways to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, good question. Sheila. Sheila, you're muted.
I'm curious as to dues. We can't discount the district dues or the Rotary International dues, but does everyone have the same club dues? I'm curious as to how your club sets your dues.
Yeah, I think that is very unique to clubs, and that might be a good breakout discussion at a future Zoom. Nodding my head to all of the DGEs to kind of talk about what club structures look like. Some clubs, it's the built-in meal costs if they are meeting centered around a meal. I know some clubs build in foundation giving into their dues. Some it's very minimal beyond what the RI and district dues are. So that's handled a little bit differently with every club. What I do encourage across the board is that clubs are transparent with their members about what their dues are doing for them. I really encourage clubs to be telling their members, this much out of your dues goes to RI, this much goes to the district, this much goes to the club, this much goes to the foundation. And I think that really helps people see where their investment and their membership is going. That's one thing I just encourage across the board, is that clubs are really transparent about that.
Well, Jenny, if I could chime in, and just by getting around a few clubs already and my district, I can tell you that there's a saying in leadership that when you've seen one Rotary Club, you've seen one Rotary Club. You all have your own different vibe, own different way you work. But the value of being together in this setting and at PETS is when you get together with your PE mates, you're going to be amazed at the things that you can share together. And that's everything from dues to membership to service projects. And you can really lean on each other, even in your own districts. Start there. You'll find this All Ohio Pets group is also someone you can lean on. And your DGEs, we're all out there willing to talk about it. But every club has, I have a club in 6690. They meet in an MCL cafeteria. So you can go through, get your food, then sit down if you want. If you don't want to eat, then it's good for you. So everybody kind of has their own thing in many ways.
And then finally, I'll do one last question. I see Elaine put in the chat that when members push back about satellite clubs, how can we win them over? I think the first thing when we encounter any kind of conflict, regardless, is that we'd have to understand what is it that makes them nervous about it. So asking that question of why, because are they nervous that it's going to take all the members from the club, or are they nervous that it's going to spawn a new club? And I think that's the first thing, is that we have to understand what their hesitation is, and then invite them into a conversation where we give them the correct information. So most people don't realize that a satellite club's members are members of the host club. And there's no rule that says a satellite club needs to eventually become its own club. There are definitely satellite and extension clubs that by design will never stand on their own feet. They were always meant to be a satellite or an extension of that existing club. It's just a different way for those particular members to engage and be a part of it. And one thing that we found is that when there are lots of different ways for people to become engaged in Rotary in the communities, whether that's because there are multiple clubs, whether that's because there's multiple times of day to get involved, that makes Rotary and all of those clubs stronger. It actually grows their membership. That's what the data tells us, because we basically can saturate the community more. We can kind of make our footprint a lot bigger in those communities and take advantage of that collective influence. So then when that person's available at noon, but not in the morning, they're going to join the noon club, but they're available in the evening. So they're going to join the after hours satellite club. It actually benefits all of us. So I think there are ways to have those kinds of conversations, but going in armed with, one, the understanding of what the concern is, what the worry is, and then two, with that information. And Elaine, obviously I know you're a district governor elect, but I encourage, if you're a president thinking about this, pull in your assistant governor, pull in your district membership chair, pull in your innovative club advocate, your district governor, pull those people into those conversations. So they will help you, they will support you, they will help provide that information, be a sounding board. So definitely lean on that support team. You have a lot of folks who have navigated these channels already and can share a lot of wisdom with you.
Anyone else? Well, I can tell you that we have a very strong inclination that membership is going to be a very high initiative for Stephanie or Jake, the RI president coming in. So membership is going to be very important. I've had this one saying, we can't raise more money with fewer people. And if you know what I mean. So I'm going to go around the room very quickly. I'm going to start with Tim Ryan from 6600. Tim, you got anything else to add?
A great meeting. I think this is a very important conversation. If we don't keep a handle on membership, we don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. And it's been a great meeting. So thanks.
How about Dale Smith? Anything else, Dale?
I said it earlier, but look forward to seeing all of you and more on our upcoming Zoom meetings and in March.
Elaine?
These kinds of conversations I find most energizing, and the concept of the answers in the room is so true. This is why I'm looking forward to being together with you all in person in Columbus, and again with the other pre-PETS meetings coming up in our future. Thank you. Thanks for your participation.
Thanks, Elaine. And next, before Dottie speaks, next month, November 8th, Dottie will be the host, if you will, want to call what I'm doing. And it will be on Foundation, and Mary Jane Shackelford will be the presentation. Did I steal your thunder, Dottie? I'm sorry.
Certainly did. You just took not everything I was going to say. It is November 8th, Wednesday evening again, and we hope that you will all, and encourage your other presidents-elect who couldn't be with us this evening to come and join us. Mary Jane will be on, along with Tyler Stokesbury from Rotary International. So we'll be talking Foundation on November 8th. We would love to see you all here. And then in reflection to what happened this evening, I just can't reiterate enough how you need and we want you to put March 15 and 16 on your calendar now, so that nothing interrupts your attendance at All Ohio Pets in Columbus. It is an amazing time to make connections other than on a Hollywood Square, face-to-face, sitting next to each other at a dining room table or in a breakout session having conversations. So please plan to join us at All Ohio Pets in March. Thank you, Gary.
Great. Well, I can tell you, folks, this is what inspires us. It's great to see so many people on. The chats came through. You're obviously engaged. We need you to do that. And again, don't be afraid to reach out to any of us at any time. I want to thank Jenny Stotts. I want to thank David Jones for his technical leadership, and Terry Radizak as well, because behind the scenes, I can just sit here and talk. I don't have to worry about doing things technically. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. We're wrapping up. There are online resources. Jenny mentioned them, but if you have not logged in to myrotary.org, the Learning Center has a lot of great videos, great instructionals that will be very helpful to you going down the road. And you may get a questionnaire. You may get a questionnaire from Dale or about this session. If you can, and you do, please respond. We need input and feedback. The spousal question and having partners at the pets is a constant discussion among this group. It's important to us if your partners or your spouses want to be there, and we want to be able to give them something to do besides sitting in Rotary sessions. So we need that input. And with that, I am ready to say good night. Any other comments or input from this group? I do want to mention Dottie was in Israel a month ago, and I'm glad she's here and safe with us. Obviously, a lot of things going on in the world. Our hearts and prayers and thoughts are out to that region of the world. Rotary, we are peace builders. And so hopefully this will all get resolved in time. And please go out and be good Rotarians, humanitarians, and thank you for participating. Again, reach out to us anytime.
Okay.